Welcome, my name is Guilty, and today we'll be diving into what skill is king in OSRS. But of course, that is a very debated topic, so here's our factors. First off, is this skill relevant? Does this skill matter to other skills? Secondly, hey, is it fun? Are you going to have a good time using this skill? And third, has it been improved? Is it a growing skill, or is it kind of dead? Is it a skill that just doesn't really matter? I'm so excited to dive on in, and just remember that, hey, this is an Iron Man perspective. I am on a Slayer locked account. But that being said, let's have some debate. Let's have some fun. Throw your thoughts in the comments. And hey, please do like, comment, share, and of course subscribe. I truthfully do appreciate it. With that, let's dive in. I would say this skill needs a full-on rework. 90% crap, hey, it's a good skill. It's got a few, maybe niche uses, but beyond that, it's honestly total garbage. And maybe 10% of you love it, the majority don't. Mid, hey, you can make some money at it, and yeah, it's useful. It kind of ties in with some other skills. It's not bad. It's not something that a noob or a beginner to this game should prioritize. It's not really something you're going to rush to 99. It's just a decent skill. Train ASAP. So this is a skill that, hey, like maybe it's very cost effective to train. It's maybe very, again, relevant. Maybe, again, it's seen a lot of improvements recently that just helped it rise up in the ranks. S plus, S tier, man. This is going to be reserved for the top of the top skills. Maybe only 2 or 3 would be my goal ideally. And really, it's going to, again, all of these are being ranked from left to right. So like most useful to like least useful, and then so on. And we're starting with attack, baby. And I'll just start right out by saying that attack, in my opinion, would go in the mid tier, and here's why. Attack is a skill that, first off, I broke all of these apart. They are not combined together as you've seen other people maybe done in the past with attack, strength, and defense, because they are their own separate skills, and they're, in my opinion, not created equally. But more so, it's locking weapons being able to be equipped behind having a higher attack level. So if you have 99 strength and 1 attack, then you're still only really punching people with your fist or using like a bronze sword. So, attack matters more than people may think it does. I'm not sitting here and saying it's an S plus skill, it's the best of the best, but it is one of those things that there is a lot of room for growth as well for attack. As it stands currently at near the end of 2024, to have an attack of, I believe, 82 to wield the Osmotin Fang. A newer item that I think was added in August of 2022. This is currently the highest attack wieldable weapon that you magic. It's going to be for range as well, as other weapons are going to be locked behind the ability of needing a higher attack. Thinking of things like, staffs like the Staff of the Dead or Staff of Light. It's certainly worth leveling your attack. Is it, again, an S tier skill? Is it going to make you a lot of money? Not really. Is it a useless skill? Not at all either. And I think it's why it's fitting to have it here. So, for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that agility is actually very close to my heart. I love this skill. I think it's exciting. I think it's fun. It's so much better than what it is in RuneScape 3. Like, do not get me started on the absolute cluster that it is in RuneScape 3. Let's see, to begin with, I think maybe one of the most obvious things in the room is the Graceful. So Graceful comes from Rooftops, and Rooftops is actually, again, something that's newer to OSRS that RuneScape doesn't have. And what makes Rooftops so nice is that you're pretty much just running around on these courses that are locked to different cities in different parts of the world, and you're going to earn marks of grace that allow you to unlock Graceful. Graceful is going to regenerate your run quicker, and so it's very useful for skilling, for questing, for getting around the world. But it's kind of silly to see everyone running around in pajamas. Again, this is coming from a guy that's used to seeing people running around dressed up as dragons or bikinis and everything in between that RuneScape 3 has. I would probably put this down honestly in rework. However, I'm actually going to have it up here in 90% crap, even potentially mid, and this is again from someone who loves it, because agility has come a long way. For one, you don't need 99 for this to be relevant. Heck, you can have like 30 agility as an Iron Man, as a main, and you're going to see that you're going to have increased regeneration of your run, drastically better. Also, there is ways to make money beyond just Graceful. Hands down, Hollowed subwepter. Anyway, it is an absolutely amazing piece of endgame content that you can make some really good GP from. It's fun, it's engaging, and of course, finally, agility shortcuts. Agility shortcuts are a great way to again get around the game. They have recently done some form of rebalancing of these because some of them just made absolutely like no sense. Like they were locked behind diaries, or you just needed a very high level to do a very mid or useful agility shortcut. So it's a great skill. I really do enjoy it, but I just could see it needing more love. Make it a little bit better, Jagex. We would love it. Thank you. Okay, so next up, that takes us to cooking. Cooking is a skill that personally I just think is very much a useless skill. It's one of those things that I think we all understand it. It's rather simple. You go catch fish and you cook it. It's kind of crazy that honestly when you look at all the recipes that actually exist for cooking, it's so much more than just cooking fish. But yet even when you look at the wiki, it just literally talks about how in the general description it's tied to the skill of fishing. I would say, just like to not beat around the bush, and I do promise to not keep this video too long, is that cooking really deserves a rework, but I wouldn't even say it's a rework, it's a fleshing out, and here's why. Did you guys know about brewing? Because I had no idea until I more or less started making this video. Back in 2005, brewing has existed in OSRS where you are able to go, well, in Runescape as well then. That's crazy to think about. I have literally never even done it in Runescape 3. That it is the ability for us to go and make ales, make ciders, and this is exactly what I would be hoping to see this game have more fleshed out. That when you go and create something, it is able to go and give you extra bonuses beyond just getting extra health. Maybe it's a temporary boost in other skills or a decrease in other skills to compensate. Maybe it's things again like restoring prayer. Maybe it's something that actually gives you longer run time or more run energy restored. But when you look at prayer, prayer is a skill that we all love. Prayer is certainly already in the mid tier on its own, and it could be higher. But the reason why I'm going to say it's not is rather simple. Prayer hasn't changed much since its birth. If we're really talking about the third factor there, like improvements, prayer is kind of been stuck in a rut to say the least. It's actually crazy to think RuneScape 3, this is one of the skills that is much more fleshed out in RuneScape 3 than it is here in OSRS. And what's crazy is we've tried to change it. Jagex has actually tried to change it. They've tried to make it better, make it more relevant, make it more fun. And we've said no. The most recent example that got very far along was Ruinous Prayers. You can still find it on the wiki. It's one of those things that I do not fully understand why this was vetoed. It was said that it was more or less replacing original prayer, and you don't need that, but find a way to make prayer be expanded upon. It has had so little love, so little attention given to it. I love prayer. It's probably one of the most relevant, important skills in the game, but me personally, I can't justify putting it any higher on this list. You do need this. You do need at least 43 prayer, obviously, for your overheads, for protection against magic. I always say fletching and melee, but I can't put it any higher. I'm so sorry. I would say it actually might be at the top of training ASAP. It could even be an S tier, but I really want to try to keep that to a few skills. So why is crafting higher than everything else so far on this list? Well, I would say it really does fulfill that first factor of relevancy. Crafting is tied into so many skills in RuneScape. It's actually mind-boggling. Like, you're going to be blown away when you think about that we have pottery, we have armor, we have glass blowing, we have jewelry, so smithing, we've got making of weapons, we have silver, we have birdhouses, crystal singing, dude. I had no idea what that was until I just started doing leagues, which, small plug, you haven't seen any of those videos, go check them out. But I am loving crafting. It is such an easier skill to train, so similar to cooking, that again, a little bit quicker to train, but yet it's tied in across everything in RuneScape. Really, if you are an Iron Man, which again, I do have that bias, is that yes, crafting is so useful to Iron Man, but it's a skill that is so useful to a main as well. You can even make money with crafting, which is just absolutely absurd to think about, because RuneScape 3, not really, honestly. And so, all in all, just an amazing skill. Endgame, you need it for endgame. It's just no question, especially again as an Iron Man. It's just very useful, very well rounded, in a very great spot right now. Crafting cape, not bad at all. It's not the best one, but it's definitely up there on the list. And so, certainly, train ASAP is where it belongs. Defense is a tricky one for me because defense on its own is really just, again, the equivalent of attack that you level it up, you are able to put on better gear, and there's really not much more to it. So in that level alone, it's in the mid tier. Is I have had more fun making a pure with a level 1 defense than I ever thought I could. And I was completely inspired by people like Framed, absolutely like slept on idea of playing a pure, but that literally means you're not even training the skill. So I don't know. And of course, finally leveling your defense is always a good idea for all you noobs and whatnot. Just to explain, because yes, it will affect not how high someone hits you, just how as attack does not affect how hard you're gonna hit, but whether you are hit. So I'm gonna actually do put it below attack. I think that's fair for now, but you guys can come and flame me for that later. Farming. Where do you guys sit on farming? If there was one skill that I would really have just no idea where to put it, it would probably be farming. Farming, again, if you've been following my Slayer series, not really leagues, it's been the bane of my existence. Like, I would put it down to 90% crap without even hesitating. But again, that's my personal opinion. Is this skill fun? I do not think so. So if we're talking about the second factor, I don't think if you enjoy farming, you're probably a psychopath. I'm just going to throw it out there. If you like farming, the only reason that this is justifiable is if you really like the idea of you log in once, you play the game for 30 minutes, and then you come back a day later and you have like 200k experience. That's the only way that I could see farming to be fun. It is sadly certainly needed, especially as an Iron Man. It's really like having prayer pots and many other things locked behind farming or just harder to obtain. Man, I don't know. Well, here we go. Comparing it with agility, I would generally say it is more useful than agility. It's not more fun, but it's certainly more relevant. And to compare with where it is at now than versus where it's been, I would say that yeah, farming's come along a little bit. And of course, honestly, we have the tithe farming. Dude, tithe farming, I'm addicted to that. So yeah, we're gonna put it above agility, and I do love agility. It's kind of funny that two skills that kind of grown on me, I'm still gonna put them down here 90% crap. So last maybe controversial one that at least is going to happen immediately that I wanted to talk about is fire making. Fire making certainly could just get thrown right into rework. I don't think anyone would throw a hissy fit about that. But here's why I would say I might hesitate with that decision. I don't know. You got Winter Todd. You have Winter Todd. You have a PVM like skilling boss in the game, which just to like throw up when it was even added into the game, like it's been here for a while now, and people do it. It's kind of one of those things that I would say that people do it for the sake of they have to, but it's a way that levels fire making drastically quicker, and so that just shows that again they have put, at least thinking of the third factor, they have put some work, some attention into this. There's actually fire making again compared to RuneScape 3. It has incense in it, which is really cool. It's the idea that you're able to like burn these incense and gain additional experience across other skills. So I would love to see something like that come to fire making. So for that, I think for those two reasons, like, do we have a cooking boss? Not really, at least not that I'm aware of. If we do, I'm so sorry. And fire making has some immediate potential. Both these skills have immediate potential. So, oh, dude, this is tricky. I might say bottom of mid. Here's why. I would say that A, it is going to be your main source of food, and so yeah, I guess you need cooking to cook it. but more or less this is going to be your main source of food, whether you are a main, whether you are an Iron Man. Yes, you're going to make brews and things like that, which again we'll talk more about that later. But again, for most general situations, if you are not using prayer to protect yourself, you're going to be using cooking. There is a boss associated with it, which is great. Tepros is actually pretty fun. He's got a cool pet. There's some good loot locked behind him. So, like, yeah, I would say all in all, fishing is a decent spot. Oh, man, and of course, barbarian fishing. Great way to then train agility and strength by doing barbarian fishing. Is it, like, broken? Is it the best way in the game? No, but it shouldn't be. And for people who want it to be, why? I think you're dumb. Let's segue into fletching. Fletching is a skill that in some ways when I was first thinking about this, I was honestly thinking it was justifiable to put down in rework, which rework is getting kind of crowded, you know? But on the flip side, you can level this thing to 99 faster than anyone else. If you're unaware, it's actually a video that is years old now, but really got me like watching some OSRS content again, was Laserbeam, man. He, if you don't know who he is, don't worry about it, but essentially a pretty big Australian YouTuber. He literally went and just made a video for giggles, getting a 99 skill cape as quick as humanly possible. Broke his fingers doing it, which you would as well. And that's just, again, coming from crafting. It's way simpler than crafting. So like in no way, fletching is in my opinion almost like the ugly duckling of crafting. If I've offended any of you, I'm so sorry, but I just can't see any way that it's even remotely deserving of this tier. To put it in mid, like above prayer, would be a sin. That was unintentional, I'm so sorry. But I think around here with fishing is fair. Oh boy, we've got some fun ones coming up. So, Herbivore, man. I love Herblore. It's such a fun skill, and honestly, I'm just going to save us some time, throw it right up in the S tier. Here's why. Dude, first off, we got a brand new minigame this year that makes, like, training the skill even easier. It gives you access to some amazing end-game reward. They mainly come as a drop from monsters. You can get them from farming as well. But like even with minigames like the herbivores, you only need, I believe it's 31 herblore to go about getting your herbs from them. So it's just all in all like a very well-rounded skill. There's also barbarian herblore, which like then allows them to heal you as well as giving you effects. So it's a skill that like has recently been fleshed out. So it really fulfills that third pole or third point. I would say all in all it might not be super fun and exciting, but there's definitely been recent like upgrades to the skill. It's obviously very much needed for endgame, so therefore very relevant. And I have to say it has to be our first S plus there's an equal sign there, S skill now. HP or constitution, depending whatever you call it. I would say this is just a skill that isn't even lacking. Like, I don't even know how you could go about reworking it. I would just say it's kind of in that 90% crap crap tier list. I did move fletching down to here, by the way. HP, Constitution. There's really not much behind the skill. Yes, there is some requirements that you need to level this up in order to wear or complete quests. But beyond that, it's just simply how much health you have. That's all it is. That's really all it's ever going to be. I can't see how you would go about making this more exciting of a skill. But I don't know. Prove me wrong, you guys. Throw some suggestions in the comments, or if I'm missing things too about these skills that are huge and you're like, how did you not take time to talk about it? Please throw it in there. But I would just say, like, I don't know how they could even rework it. I don't know what they could do. So I would just say, yeah, 90% crap's fair. Hunter, man. So, Hunter is one that I would have put probably at the top of 90% crap before Valimore came out. Valimore has now essentially added Slayer to Valimore, to Hunter. You go on these contracts that you are assigned to go and specifically hunt down a creature until you get a specific drop from them. So it's not how many you kill, but rather it is until you get a specific drop and then you bring it back for XP and rewards. That alone has just made this skill already more relevant. Ironically, and I guess I'm dating myself here, Hunter was a skill that I still remember remember to be new as a kid. I remember when this thing came out, I was so excited for it. I went and earned one of those stupid costumes just for it to do absolutely nothing, even though there was all this like theory crafting behind it, and just makes it much more fun, like definitely way more fun than it was before to level. So let's say definitely more fun than fishing. Honestly, you could say more relevant than fishing. Man, as for these two guys, I don't know. It's like, is it more important defense? Not really, but is it more fun to level? Sure. Dude, okay, I can't believe Magic's already up. Maybe I should have moved it later in the list. But dude, Magic is another one that just instantly gets dropped up in the S tier. We're gonna have to have a debate at the end of the video, you guys, so stick around for that, of where the S tier skills should really fall. Magic, you have to get it if you want to get around the world. Again, unless for other very, unique situations. There's many spell books now, which is crazy to think about. I remember when it was only Ancients, and I was like, oh, dude, Ancients, that's so cool. Another spell book? How am I going to get that? And being so terrified of Desert Treasure, and now we have a Desert Treasure too. So yeah, Magic is very well-rounded. There's so much content behind it. It's a very fun skill. It's kind of a spoiler for what's to come, but I would certainly say out of all the combats, it is clearly just the best. You need, even like to PK, you still need Magic even if you're gonna be PKing in melee or ranged. It's just very much a needed skill in a very great spot. There's many ways to level it. It honestly goes very quick as well, but you are going to be blowing a lot of money doing so. Great skill, definitely deserves S tier. Mining, man. I would have loved to have put mining in Train ASAP. Simply can't justify it, I'm sorry to say, because some people hate it. But we do have Shooting Stars. You do have many mini games, honestly, that are going to help you with mining. Oh no, it's Volcano, man. Volcano for a boss. He is so much fun and easy to do, and you can get mining, smithing, and runecrafting experience from doing this dude. And he's honestly really easy, really fun. Maybe it gets boring after hundreds of hours for all of you that have chosen to do that. But mining is a great skill. It's definitely either off the top end of mid or in a Train ASAP. But if that being said, like, is it relevant to your account? You don't need mining really for end game. It's just one of those things that I think therefore it has to go behind prayer. Range, dude. Okay, man. So we are more or less at the end of our combat triangle, so to speak. Range again falls in a very nice spot that we do of course have our triangle. That range is generally speaking going to mow down a mage, and a mage will mow down someone in armor. There's of course the twisted bow, and therefore range is really in an amazing spot for many bosses, many content of the game. If you are a noob watching this, it is certainly up in the Train ASAP, and I would say there's really no way that you would justify crafting being trained more than range. Recently, they've just done a skill balancing for magic and range, that certain monsters are extra weak to like magical elements of like water, or certain monsters are extra weak to arrows. And so that's just a way that has really gone about adding what the attack already had for years. It's ironic because RuneScape 3 has had this for literally years, and it's only just come in 2024 to range and magic to really make them a little bit more potent. And it's just what is again such an amazing highlight of this game, is that like there isn't just one way to kill everything. There's many different ways to kill. Runecrafting, man. Alright, so again, trying to move through this quicker. I don't want to make it too long of a video. We recently had Guardians of the Rift added, I guess a few years ago now, but Guardians of the Rift is a great way to train runecrafting while also having fun with friends, and has some amazing rewards locked behind it, and you can get access to it relatively early on in your account. They've continuously added more methods to go about training this, but they all to some level are going to be a bit of a grind, take you a bit of time, but again, it's casual, good, simple money. It always will be, because magic will always exist as an amazing combat style, unless again they add like bloated bosses like OG Zulrah. Certainly a skill that is going to be needed on an Ironman. It is relevant to some level. You could say it is fun. It is definitely not in the 90% crap, but it's also not in the train ASAP. I would say we're sitting right around here with Minecraft. Wow, Minecraft. Oh dear, mining. But I think this is going to be an interesting debate. I can see. I would be intrigued to see where y'all would have this sitting. Smithing is that for smithing and for mining, I would dare say that they are very limited with what products they can actually give you. Smithing is just very much a skill that you just have to level up for the sake of it. It's not really at all relevant across any other skills. So there is actually quite a few mini games now that I think of it for smithing. So I guess I can't go and rework then. I guess we'll put it up in 90% crap, but truthfully be told, it just needs to be at its core more of a functional skill. Even as an Iron Man, again, you're gonna get your rune drops from killing something way before you smith it yourself. If you get up to the level to smith your own rune before you're getting it as a drop, I think something's wrong with you. So, strength. Strength is certainly going to go up in the train ASAP. It is a skill that allows you to hit harder, unlike what you might think of for attack or defense. You will hit higher with melee with higher strength. But of course, if you have 99 strength and only one attack, then what is that really doing for you? But strength is also a lot of fun because the higher your strength, even with you see people with only a granite maul just absolutely 100 to zeroing somebody. And that's all possible by just boosting the living crap out of your strength. There also is simple ways to go about training your strength without training your HP, but they're really minutia methods and they're extremely slow. So it'd be kind of cool to see Jagex add in ways to train these other combat skills without really training your HP. Of course, we have a cannon for range, but certainly the train ASAP definitely as a noob something that you should be prioritizing over defense or really attack. Even attack, you should just prioritize as you're getting close to a better weapon you want to equip. Strength, you should just always be dumping experience into it. Let's move on to thieving, man. So, as a kid, and maybe as all of us, I think thieving was just that evil skill, it's actually thieving is very, very old. I literally think essentially to the original of the game they were working on thieving. Thank you, Colonella, for teaching me that. It's also really nice because you can get access to many endgame resources and make great money with thieving. And of course you even have mini games like the Rogue's Den to go and get that outfit, which doubles your pickpocketing, and that is vital if you're gonna go to get your blood shards on your own. You're talking about fishing and cooking, being your really only source of food. That's all they really do. Well, thieving, again, can give you food. It can give you gems. It can give you crafting experience. It can give you food of course, for fighting. It can go about helping you get access to runes. Thieving is a very, very well-rounded skill. Again, that's, I guess, why it's a support skill. Woodcutting, it's going to help you make bows. Woodcutting's going to help you make arrows. Woodcutting's going to help you make fire. Until really these skills, I think, gain more benefits. Again, incense, for example. If incense came to this, then woodcutting would obviously gain more relevancy. But beyond that, all we have to say, especially for the year 2024, unless it was 2023, let's fact check that, is forestry. And I think that was still received mixed receptions. I do think that's been a year now. That's crazy to think about. Forestry is a great way to passively, casually train all these other skills. It is a way that makes woodcutting just so much better. You can even just carry more logs now. You can get an extra outfit, things like that, extra experience. End of the day, woodcutting is a passive skill, generally speaking. I could even see it being at the top of crap. In fact, I think it's the top of crap, to be candid with you. Alright, we're down to our last two skills here. If you have heard me talk about this in any videos whatsoever, you kind of already know my bias. Both of them belong here in the S tier. So now I think let's just actually talk about all four of these in a little bit greater detail to round up our video. Slayer, you guys know my bias. I would say Slayer as well is in top 2, maybe top 3. I do think Herblore deserves to be at the bottom of these 4. Slayer, to just give this a little bit of time, especially if you haven't been following any of my videos, Slayer is hands down, I think, the bread and butter of this game. Slayer is an extremely exciting support skill for the fact that really it's the only one quite like it, that you go and talk to someone, you are assigned monsters to kill, and then while on this task, you will, if you're you can be wearing a black mask or a Slayer helm, and you'll be getting extremely higher damage against these monsters. So it just kind of almost defeats training, generally speaking, the combat triangle. If you're training it through combat without using Slayer, you're really not being efficient, generally speaking. Of course, Slayer as well gives you access to better drops because you can be killing superiors. You can get the imbued heart, which drastically makes magic just even more broken. Like, I really don't even think, as I think about it, that there's an equivalent for range or melee. And it's just, again, it's only way Slayer can really be improved: add more monsters, add more fun ways to train this. The fact that you can train it with a friend, like in Group Iron Man, is such an exciting thing. I love this skill. I love that there's bosses locked behind it. I guess you can't really say that for Magic. Magic is going to let you get around the world better, but it's not the only way to get around. And just all in all, Slayer is iconic. Construction as well has arguably the best skill cape in the game, allowing you to teleport to your house. And with a fully fleshed out house, even though that is literally going to cost you millions, if not billions, if you're being lazy, this makes training Prayer easier. It makes training Slayer easier, as you're allowed to get around the world from your home instantly. You can have a fairy ring in it. You can have a spirit tree in it. So just sufficient to say you can have full restore in your home. You can put all of your gems from crafting, your necklaces and whatnot, in your home. Construction, like, again, embraces the idea that all of this is, you can train Slayer in your home technically. I don't really think it makes any sense to do it, but you can. It's very, very much a pinnacle fleshed out. All of these skills very fleshed out, or recent content that has made them better. And like, I believe it was Jimmy that when he was sharing in one of his videos, that how excited he is, the idea that like they're gonna flesh out the home and make it more pretty, that you can customize it. That's the only way you can make construction better at this point. But I do think that I would put it above Herblore because it is just so much more useful, even though Herblore is very helpful. So I think that rounds out our video, you guys. What do you think? What have we done good? What have we done bad? As I look at this, I'm pretty content with this list, but I can't wait to hear what you guys say on what should be higher and lower. I know I might be flamed for some of these decisions, and that's all the fun. I'm not a professional, but I hope this does help you, especially if you're a beginner watching this video, just what skills you should try to prioritize to level as you can. The Slayer, again, you need a higher combat to really get into it, but hey, you can start at day 1. I have, it's been fun. Magic, yeah, it's going to cost you some money and a lot of runes, but again, you can train this early on. Construction, man, you're going to be dumping a ton of wood and a ton of coin into this, but if you're getting that from like these skills, then I think you're okay. And of course, Herblore is just great that as you're doing more Slayer, it's going to be feeding into, because you're going to be getting so many herbs, or again, as you're doing farming. I don't know. I think we're going to leave it there. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Please do like and subscribe. I have some big goals I really would love to hit 1,000 subscribers. And to all you that have made it to this point of the video, if you're able to hit that subscribe button, dude, I would so appreciate it. And I promise too, I'm going to try to reward y'all. I think it'd be a fun goal of hitting 1,000 to make some extra special video. Maybe pull my wife into one of these, if you guys think that'd be funny. Anyway, have a God bless day, you guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.